All right, so you're ready for a deep dive into healthy eating.
That's right, and we're going beyond the usual headlines.
We've got all this research, articles, all about how to eat right.
Exactly, and we're going to make sense of it, cut through the noise.
Because honestly, even I get confused with all this nutrition advice.
Oh, tell me about it. It seems like everyone's got a different answer.
It's a real jungle out there. So we're sticking with the NHS guidelines.
Solid foundation, evidence-based,
That's what we're all about. Real, practical stuff that works.
No fads here, just real talk about what keeps you healthy.
Okay, so where do we even begin with this deep dive?
Well, there's this thing, you might have heard of it.
Okay, I'm listening.
It's called the Eat Well Guide.
The Eat Well Guide rings a bell, maybe from a health class?
Maybe. But it's a roadmap, visually, to a balanced diet.
Okay, roadmap. I like that. Keeps us on track.
Shows you the key food groups, how much of each you need.
So not a restrictive diet, more like a guide to proportions.
Exactly. It's about enjoying a variety of foods.
Variety is the spice of life and all that. So these food groups.
5 of them. Fruits and veggies, of course.
Those are a given.
What else? Starchy carbs, then you've got your dairy or alternatives.
Okay, I'm with you. 2 more.
Protein, so your beans, pulses, fish, eggs, meat.
Right. The protein powerhouses. And the last one.
Oils and spreads. Can't forget those.
5 food groups. Easy to remember. But let's be real for a second.
Sure, what's on your mind?
5 a day fruits and veggies. That's a struggle sometimes.
Yeah, I hear you. But it's not as hard as it sounds.
Really? I feel like I'd need to eat a mountain of salad.
Nah, you don't. Here's the thing. Frozen, canned smoothies all count.
Hold on, seriously? I thought it had to be fresh, straight from the farm.
Nope, that's a myth. Frozen can be even more nutrient-packed sometimes.
You're kidding. So I've been dissing frozen veggies for no reason?
They're picked ripe and frozen fast, locking in the good stuff.
Wow, that's news to me. Okay, but how much is a portion, realistically?
1 apple, banana, pear, that's 1. Melon slice, pineapple, also 1.
Okay, that's manageable. What about cooked veggies, like spinach?
3 tablespoons cooked, that's about right.
All right, so 5 a day, maybe not as impossible as I thought.
You got this.
Okay, now let's talk about those starchy foods.
Carbs. Everyone's got an opinion on those.
They get demonized so much. Are they really that bad?
Carbs are essential. They give you energy, fuel your brain.
So I don't need to give up pasta completely.
No way. Choose whole grain options. Brown rice, whole wheat pasta.
Got it. Switching to the good stuff. Any other tips for starchy carbs?
Don't throw away potato skins. They're full of nutrients.
Wait, what? Potato skins? I've been missing out.
Full of fiber. Good for you.
Mind blown. Okay, moving on to something I actually love.
Let's hear it.
Dairy. I'm a huge cheese fan. Can't deny it.
Cheese is great. Dairy in general, good for protein, calcium.
Strong bones. We need those. But I've heard go for low-fat options.
That's a good idea, yeah. Lower fat dairy means less saturated fat.
And saturated fat is the bad kind, right?
It can raise your cholesterol levels. So semi-skimmed milk, lower fat cheese.
Makes sense. Okay, what about all those dairy alternatives?
Almond milk, soy yogurt, those kinds of things.
Yeah, are those okay? Or are they just trendy substitutes?
They can be good options, especially for dietary reasons.
All right, so if I'm avoiding dairy, I've got choices.
Just choose unsweetened, calcium-fortified versions.
Makes sense. Got to read those labels carefully.
Always a good idea. Now let's talk protein.
Meat's a good source.
Yeah.
Right. But there's always a debate about it.
The meat debate. It's about moderation and nuances.
Okay, break it down for me.
Lean meat, good for you. Iron, essential nutrients.
So chicken, turkey, those kinds of things.
Exactly. But red meat, watch the saturated fat.
So enjoy it, but not every day.
Exactly. Now, what about other protein sources?
Oh, eggs are a classic. I love those.
Eggs are fantastic. Protein, choline, good for your brain.
Brain power, we need that. What else?
Fish, especially oily fish like salmon, mackerel.
The omega-3 powerhouses, right?
You got it. Reduce inflammation, support heart health.
I'm learning so much. You know, I was reading the other day about pulses.
Beans, lentils, those guys.
Yeah. Did you know they're high in fiber and protein?
They are indeed. Great plant-based protein source.
That's super versatile. You can add them to anything.
Soups, stews, salads, the possibilities are endless.
Okay, this is making me hungry. Now let's tackle a big one.
Hit me with it.
Fats. Oils and spreads. Are they the villains they're made out to be?
Not at all. Some fats are essential for your body.
Hold on. Good fats, bad fats. I'm getting confused again.
Think of it this way. Unsaturated fats, the good guys.
Okay, those are found in.
Olive oil, avocados, nuts, seeds, heart-healthy heroes.
So using olive oil instead of butter, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Now, saturated fats, those are the ones to watch out for.
Those are the bad guys. Where do we find those lurking?
Fatty meats, butter, processed foods, they raise your cholesterol.
And high cholesterol leads to heart problems, right?
That's right. So swapping the saturated fats for unsaturated.
Smart move. Okay, before we move on, let's talk about the usual suspects.
Go on. Which ones?
Sugar, salt, saturated fat. Those are the tricky trios, right?
They can be if you overdo it.
I'll confess, I do have a bit of a sweet tooth.
Oh, we all have our weaknesses. But too much sugar can cause problems.
Like what? Give me the rundown.
Energy crashes, risk of type 2 diabetes, tooth decay.
Not good. And salt? What's the issue there?
Excess salt can lead to high blood pressure.
Which can then lead to heart disease, stroke, all that.
Exactly. It's a chain reaction. And as we talked about, saturated fat
Raises cholesterol.
puts your heart at risk.
You got it. But it's not about eliminating them completely.
Right, because that's just setting yourself up for failure.
It's about moderation. Finding a balance you can live with.
Makes sense. Enjoy those treats occasionally, but don't go overboard.
That's the key. Okay, now let's talk about weight management.
That's a big one, and I know it can be a sensitive topic.
Absolutely. We'll
Yeah.
approach it with sensitivity and understanding. It feels like everyone's got a different opinion on how to manage weight.
It's a minefield out there with all the diets and quick fixes.
You're telling me. It's overwhelming. But where do we even begin?
Well, the good news is you don't need a fancy program.
Really? That's a relief to hear. What do you suggest?
The NHS has a great resource, their weight loss plan. Have you heard of it?
I have. It's completely free.
Yep, totally free. And it's not some crazy fad diet.
That's reassuring. What's the approach then?
It's a 12-week plan. Combines healthy eating with exercise.
So not about starving yourself or cutting out food groups.
Nope, it's all about sustainable habits.
That sounds much more realistic. I like that.
It's about making gradual changes to your diet and lifestyle.
So things I can actually stick with in the long run.
Exactly. Choosing healthier snacks, cooking more at home.
Sounds doable. What if someone needs more personalized support?
The NHS website is a goldmine of information. It's all there.
So I can find tips, recipes, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Tools to track your progress. Everything you need.
It's like having a virtual health coach in my pocket.
That's a great way to put it. You're not alone on this journey.
I'm feeling much more optimistic already. Any examples of those practical tips?
Well, they emphasize mindful eating. Slow down, savor your food.
Mindful eating. I've heard of that. What's the gist?
Pay attention to your body's cues. Hunger, fullness.
So really being present when I'm eating, not just mindlessly munching.
Exactly. They also talk about setting realistic goals, finding support,
Support system, that's important. We all need cheerleaders.
and celebrate small victories along the way. Each step is a win.
I love that. It's about progress, not perfection.
Absolutely. It's your journey, unique to you.
Makes sense. We all have different bodies, different goals.
Find what fits your life and supports your well-being.
All right, we've talked about the Eat Well Guide, the 5 food groups,
We've covered a lot of ground, yeah.
and now weight management. Feels like we're getting somewhere.
We are. You've taken some great notes, by the way.
I'm trying to absorb all this wisdom. But what else is important?
You know, beyond specific guidelines, there's a bigger picture.
Ooh, the bigger picture. I'm intrigued.
It's about cultivating a positive relationship with food,
Okay, now we're getting deep.
moving away from restrictive diets, embracing a joyful approach.
So not about punishment, but about nourishment.
Exactly. It's about enjoying the process, discovering what makes you feel good.
I love that. It should be a journey, not a battle.
Listen to your body, experiment, honor your needs.
Each meal is a chance to fuel our well-being.
Beautiful way to put it. It's not just what's on your plate.
It's the intention, the awareness we bring to eating.
Mind, body, food, all connected.
Okay, I'm on board with this. But practically, how do we apply this?
Start by adding more good stuff. Don't focus on restrictions.
So instead of what can I cut out, it's what can I add in?
Exactly. More veggies, more fruits, more whole grains.
I like that shift in mindset. It feels more positive.
It's about abundance, not deprivation.
Any other ways to cultivate that positive relationship with food?
Tune into your senses when you eat. Savor the flavors, the aromas.
Be present in the moment. Really appreciate the experience.
Put away the phone, turn off the TV. Just you and your food.
It's like a mini meditation. I can get behind that.
It makes a difference. You start to appreciate food differently.
When we're distracted, we miss out on those sensory cues.
Exactly. And speaking of cues, let's talk about cravings.
Ah, cravings. Those are the tricky ones.
They can be, but they're also messengers.
Messengers. What do you mean by that?
Cravings are your body's way of communicating.
Sometimes it's a genuine need for certain nutrients.
Like craving red meat when you're low on iron, for example.
Makes sense. But sometimes it's not that simple, is it?
Often cravings are tied to emotions, habits, or just temptation.
It's like my brain knows broccoli is better,
Mm-hmm.
but my taste buds want chocolate.
We've all been there. That's where mindful eating comes in again.
Okay, so instead of fighting those cravings with willpower,
Try to understand them. Ask yourself, what am I truly craving?
is it hunger? Or is it stress, boredom, comfort seeking?
Get curious about those cravings. Don't just try to ignore them.
That's a really interesting perspective. I've never thought of it that way.
Once you understand the root cause, you can address it mindfully.
So if it's genuine hunger, I nourish my body properly.
But if it's an emotional craving, find healthier coping mechanisms.
A walk, a chat with a friend, some self-care, those kinds of things.
Exactly. You need a toolbox of strategies, not just willpower.
Because willpower can only take us so far. We're human after all.
And speaking of tools, the NHS website has those too.
It's come up a lot in our conversation. It's a valuable resource.
It really is. Practical tips, recipes, meal planners.
I'm definitely going to check it out. It sounds like a game changer.
And the best part is, it's all evidence-based and free.
No expensive programs, no complicated diets.
Just solid advice, based on science.
I love that. Okay, we've covered so much in this deep dive.
We have, from the Eat Well Guide to mindful eating.
Debunked myths, tackled weight management. It's been enlightening.
What are your key takeaways so far?